Hi guys, welcome to Chrissy's Tiny Kitchen. Today we are going to be making one of my absolute favorites, which is mulligatawny soup. It's not only fun to say, but it is also delicious. I'm a soup addict. Anybody that knows me knows I have a thing for soup. But I like my soups to be filling. I like them to be interesting. I like them to be flavorful. So mulligatawny soup is exactly that for me. If you've never had it, it's an Indian-British mashup that dates way back, and there's a few different varieties. I'm going to show you the way I like to make mine. So I prepped all my ingredients. We're going to start with about 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the pot. Let me just get my stove on there. Hope if I turn the right element on. I'm just going to eyeball it, but about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And like a lot of soups, we are going to start with our basic mirepoix. So in here I have 2 small onions, 1 large one if you've got it. I've got 4 stalks of celery and about 4 medium carrots, all diced up here. So we're going to throw that into the pot. And that is going to be our flavor base here. And I also add in the rice at this stage as well too. So here I've got 3/4 of a cup of parboiled rice. I like to use parboiled rice in soups because I find it just holds its shape better. It doesn't disintegrate as much as a standard white rice or an Italian style rice would do. So for this one I'm using 3/4 of a cup of parboiled rice. I'm also going to put in, it was about a 1-inch chunk of ginger that I grated and about a teaspoon of fresh thyme. If you don't have fresh, I would use about a 1/2 teaspoon of dried. So that's going to go in there right now as well. Also, I'm going to put in the dry spices. So in here I've got 2 heaping teaspoons of a mild curry powder, and I've got a little bit of nutmeg in here as well, about a 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg. That's going to go in right now too. I like putting those dry spices in while we're cooking things with the oil at the beginning. It just brings out the flavor so much more. Now, if you would like it to be a little bit stronger, a little bit spicier, you could add, of course, more curry powder. You could also use a spicy curry powder. Some recipes call for garam masala. I like to keep this one pretty simple, so I just stick to a mild curry powder. So we're just going to let that sweat off a little bit. Turn that down about medium. Perfect. So we're going to talk about the meat that goes in here. So mulligatawny soup has chicken in it. You basically want about 1 pound of meat. So I actually froze some cooked chicken breasts that I had done in one of my Tuesday tips videos. So in here I've got about 3.5 good-sized chicken breasts. Traditionally you would want to use chicken thighs, so about 6 chicken thighs would be equivalent. Honestly, you can use whatever you have. I've even made this soup with leftovers from a rotisserie chicken that I've bought. So as long as you've got chicken, about 1 pound worth, already cooked, dice it up, and then that's going to go into the soup as well. Once we've got these guys softened just a little bit more. And don't worry if you've got a little bit sticking to the bottom of your pot, because once we get our liquid in there, it's going to take up all those little bits and there's going to be extra flavor in your soup, okay? So at this point, I'm also going to add salt and pepper to taste. Alrighty, I'm going to add our salt in there. The salt will also help sweat out the onions and the veg. A little bit of fresh cracked pepper. later on, make sure everything is well seasoned. I like to make sure that I'm seasoning as I go. Alright, it's almost time to add our liquid. I'm going to throw the chicken in first. So that's, again, already cooked and chopped up nicely. So for this, I'm going to add 1 carton of store-bought low sodium chicken broth. I don't have any homemade on hand right now. I've got a whole bunch of scraps. I need to make a batch of homemade broth. So 1 carton of this. I also add 1 carton of water, and then I'll add 1 or 2 chicken cubes. That's how we're going to do this today. Alright, so in goes. You're going to hear a nice sizzle because that's going to be hitting all those brown bits at the bottom, okay? Perfect. All that in there. Just going to give that a quick stir. Now I'm going to fill my carton. There we go. I can feel all those bits loosening up. Perfect. Okay, it smells so good already. Cannot wait to have this for lunch tomorrow. And I will definitely be dropping off a little care package for my sister and my brother-in-law and nephew. They love soups as well, so I love to share. So I'm just going to fill up this carton with water and fill that up. I'm just going to fill the carton with water, put that into my pot with 1 chicken cube to start with. I don't want to add both right offhand, just in case I don't need it, because it can be a bit salty. So again, seasoning as we go. You could always put more salt, but it's kind of hard to take it out once it's in there. So we're going to do this and let it sit and cook, and then we'll add some of our finishing touches. These are going to be the fun, kind of interesting little bits that set Mulligatawny soup apart from just a curry chicken soup. All right. All right, I just wanted to show you what our soup is looking like right now. So this is with our mirepoix, our chicken, our rice, our stock, our water, our chicken cube, our ginger and thyme, curry and nutmeg. I gave it a quick little taste, and so far I'm really happy with the seasonings. But we will definitely give it another taste before we finish it off. So we're just going to kind of let it come to a boil here. Let the rice soften a little bit, and then we're going to add the finishing touches. Oh, it smells so good in here. So our soup is exactly where I want it to be. The rice is just starting to soften, and the veggies are softening as well. And we're going to add in our finishing touches. A little bit of coconut milk and some diced apple. All right, as I mentioned, our soup is at the point now where we're going to add our finishing touches. So I have 1 apple that I've peeled and diced. You want to do this in a small dice, much smaller than you did your carrot, onion, and celery. It's going to sort of dissolve into the soup, really. It sounds weird. I myself really dislike mixing fruit with savory things. But this just works. It just adds a nice little bit of sweetness. So that's going to go in. Traditionally in a mulligatawny soup, you're going to add a cup of cream right at the end as well. I actually like to use coconut milk instead, but by all means, 1 cup of heavy cream at the end here. Totally traditional. I love what the coconut milk does with the curry. It's not so strong that it overpowers, but it just adds a really nice element. It's also great if you're making this for somebody that has a dairy intolerance. I kind of do, it comes and goes. So I like this option. Make sure when you're using a can of coconut milk, you give it a really good shake before you open it. Any of the solids that have settled at the bottom, will see, they'll come out nicely. Make sure we get all that in there. So we're just gonna let this cook down a little bit longer. So it goes from sort of a yellowy broth. Now we've got a slightly creamy looking broth here. It still has that really nice yellow color from the curry powder, which you want. Mulligatawny soup should have a really nice yellow color to it. And as far as the type of apple, it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't necessarily use a Granny Smith. That might be a little bit too tart. What did I use today? I just used a Gala apple. That's what I had. So peeled and chopped that up nice and fine. All right, we're just going to keep that cooking. I've turned it down. Now it's more of a medium-low heat. We're going to let that cook away. And then, of course, we'll have to serve up a little late-night mug of soup to make sure that we've got all the flavors there. I also really like to garnish it at the very end with a little bit of fresh cilantro. You could use parsley if you're not a cilantro fan. Just that little pop of green freshness is really, really nice at the end. So we will check back again once our soup is fully cooked, and we'll serve it up. So our soup is all done. I'm just going to dish a little bit out, show you the finished product. Oh, honestly, guys, you gotta try this soup. If you have never had mulligatawny soup, you are missing out big time. So everything has come together nicely. The bits of apple almost look like potato, so if you have any finicky eaters, it's potato. I'm just going to garnish with a little bit of fresh cilantro on the top here. And I'm going to dig in. I'm going to burn my mouth, but it's worth it for you guys. So good. So I didn't end up adding a second chicken cube in there. The seasoning was good. I haven't made this in a long time, so this is really hitting the spot. Please, please, please give mulligatawny soup a try. I'm gonna have the recipe in the comments for you guys, and enjoy.